Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Kim and in today's video we're going to learn about the demonstrative pronouns in the Finnish language. This video is split into 10 chapters. First we're going to start with a short introduction. Then in chapters 2 till 4 we are going to focus on the differences between the singular demonstrative pronouns and the plural ones. Then in chapter 5 we're going through some more additional infos regarding these pronouns, followed by chapter 6 where we are going to see how to use these pronouns in different cases. So here we're going through some example sentences, and then in chapter 7 we will focus on how to use these pronouns in Puhekieli, which is the spoken language. Then chapter 8 is all about declension, so that means we are getting to know how to say, for example, TÄMÄ in all different cases in the standard language and also in the spoken language. In chapter 9 we are going through a summary, followed by chapter 10 where we are going to practice what we've learned today by solving some exercises together. Alright, so let's start with chapter 1. In the Finnish language there are 3 demonstrative pronouns in the singular form and 3 in the plural form. These are TÄMÄ, TUO, se, NÄMÄ, NUO and NÄ. Let's start with the first one. TÄMÄ is singular and means this. NÄMÄ is plural and it means these. They are used when we're talking about something or someone that is close to the speaker. Let's take a look at one example. Tämä kuppi on minun means this cup is mine. So here we use tämä because the cup is right in front of us, so we can see it and we can touch it. Tämä kuppi means this cup, on means is, and minun means mine. So let's repeat. Tämä kuppi on minun. This cup is mine. Now let's take a look with the plural form, NÄMÄ. Nämä kynät maksavat 5 euroa. Means these pencils cost 5 euros. So here we are talking about pencils that are right next to us. So that means they are in our vicinity, so we can see them and we can touch them. Nämä kynät means these pencils. Maksavat is the third person plural present tense of the verb maksaa, which means to cost. And then we have 5 euroa, which means 5 euros. Euroa is the partitive case of the word euro, which means euro, because it's following a number. So let's repeat. Nämä kynät maksavat 5 euroa. These pencils cost 5 euros. Next one, TUO. TUO is singular and it means that. NUO is plural and it means those. They are used when something or someone is further away from the speaker but still in his vicinity. So in other words, the speaker can point at it but he cannot touch it. Here's one example. Tuo mies on norjalainen means that man is Norwegian. Here we use tuo because the man we're talking about is standing further away from us, but he's still in our vicinity. So let's repeat. Tuo mies on norjalainen. That man is Norwegian. Now let's take a look at its plural form, NUO, meaning those. Minä ostan nuo kukat means I'll buy those flowers. Here we use nuo because we're talking about a certain amount of flowers, which is indicating the plural that are in our vicinity but not next to us. That means we can only point at them. Minä ostan nuo kukat. I'll buy those flowers. Alright, we carry on. Se and nä. Se is singular and it can mean it or that. Nä is plural and it can mean either they, the, or those. They're used when something is not in the vicinity of the speaker, so the speaker can neither see nor touch it. Just as a side note, be aware that in the spoken language, the pronoun hen often becomes se, and the plural one, which is he, becomes nä. Alright, now let's take a look at one example. Se opiskelija puhuu aina paljon means that student always speaks a lot. So here we use se because we're talking about a specific student that is not in our vicinity, which means that the student is at least not in the same room as we are. Se opiskelija, that student, puhuu, speaks, third person singular present tense of the verb puhua. Aina means always and paljon means a lot here. Se opiskelija puhuu aina paljon. That student always speaks a lot. Now let's have a look at our plural example. Ne kirjat ovat kirjastossa means those books are in the library. So here we are talking about certain books that are not in our vicinity. That's why we use ne here. Ne kirjat ovat kirjastossa. Those books are in the library. Now we arrived at chapter 5, the additional infos. So it's also important to know that when you want to introduce something or someone new into a conversation, then we use TÄMÄ or NÄMÄ or TUO and NUO. But later when we refer to it, then we can use se or nä. So to keep it short, the demonstrative pronouns se and nä refer often to something that has been mentioned previously in a conversation. Let's take a look at one example. A is asking, mikä tämä on? What is this? Then B can, for example, answer, se on kirja. So with se, we refer to the object, which is actually the book. Mikä tämä on? Se on kirja. Or, oletko sinä lukenut tämän kirjan? Se on todella hyvä. Means, have you read this book? It is really good. So here, se refers to the book we have mentioned previously in the conversation. One more example. Sinä puhut hyvin saksaa. Missä olet oppinut sitä? Means, you speak German well. Where have you learned it? Sitä here is the partitive case of se. Why do we use it here? Because it refers to the language German, which has been mentioned previously in the conversation. So let's repeat. Sinä puhut hyvin saksaa. Missä olet oppinut sitä? Now, all of these demonstrative pronouns can also appear in different cases. Let's go through some examples. Let's say we want to put tämä into the inessive case. That means we get tässä. Here is one example. Tässä kuvassa olen Pekan kanssa Norjassa. Means, there in this picture I'm with Pekka in Norway. So here we use tämä in the inessive case because we're talking about a picture that is right in front of us, and we also want to express what is in the picture. So that is why we have to use the inessive case here. So let's repeat. Tässä kuvassa olen Pekan kanssa Norjassa. There in this picture I'm with Pekka in Norway. Next one. Now let's say we want to put tuo into the illative case. That would be tuohon. For example, Amy menee tuohon kauppaan means Amy is going to that store. So here we are talking about a store that is in our vicinity but not close to us. And tuo here has to stand in the illative case because we want to express where to Amy is going. She's going to that store, so tuo and kauppa do have to stand in the illative case here, which is why we say tuohon kauppaan. So let's repeat. Amy menee tuohon kauppaan. Amy is going to that store. Next one. Let's say we want to put se into the essive case, which is sinä. Sinä can also mean you, second person singular, but now we're talking about the essive. Here's one example. Sinä päivänä aurinko paistoi ja linnut lauloivat. Literally means, on that day the sun shined and the birds sang. But in proper English we would rather say, on that day the sun was shining and the birds were singing. So here we have to put se into the essive case because we want to express on what day something has happened. Sinä päivänä means on that day. Aurinko means sun. Paistoi is the third person singular past tense of the verb paistaa, which means to shine. Ja means and. Linnut is the nominative plural of the noun lintu, which means bird. Here we use the nominative plural because we want to talk about specific birds. And lauloivat is the third person plural past tense of the verb laulaa, which means to sing. Next one. Now we want to put NÄMÄ into the genitive case, which is näiden. Here is one example. Näiden vaasien hinta on 20 euroa. Means the price of these vases is 20 euros. So here we have to put NÄMÄ into the genitive case because we're talking about the price of something, which are the vases here. So that means that both words, NÄMÄ and vaasi, do have to stand in the genitive case, which is why we say näiden vaasien. Vaasien is the genitive plural here of the noun vaasi. Hinta means price, and we say euroa here, partitive case, because this currency is following a number. So let's repeat. Näiden vaasien hinta on 20 euroa. The price of these vases is 20 euros. Now we want to put NUO into the partitive case, which is noita. Here's one example. En tunne noita naisia means I don't know those women. Here we are talking about women that are in our vicinity but not close to us. And we also have to use here the partitive case because our sentence is negative, which is why we say en tunne noita naisia. I don't know those women. En tunne is the first person singular negative present tense of the verb tuntea, which means hear, to know on a personal level. So let's repeat. En tunne noita naisia. I don't know those women. Next one is ne. Let's say we want to put ne into the essive case, which is niina. Here is one example. Niina aikoina asuin Norjassa means at those times I lived in Norway. So here we put ne into the essive case because we want to express at what time something has happened. So niina aikoina means at those times I lived in Norway. Niina aikoina means at those times. Asuin means I lived, first person singular past tense of the verb asua, meaning to live, and Norjassa is the inessive case of Norja, meaning Norway. And why do we actually use ne here? Because we're talking about something that is abstract. Niina aikoina asuin Norjassa. At those times I lived in Norway. Alright, we arrived at chapter 7, Puhekieli. So, TÄMÄ in Puhekieli is tää. TUO is toi, and se stays the same. NÄMÄ appears as nä, NUO is noi, and ne also stays the same. Also here let's take a look at some examples. Onks tää paikka vapaa means is this place free? So onks is the Puhekieli version of onko, which means is in a question. Tää here is Puhekieli for TÄMÄ. Paikka means place, and vapaa means free. Onks tää paikka vapaa? Is this place free? Let's have one more example. Ne saappaat on tosi hyvät means these boots are really good. In this sentence, ne is the Puhekieli form of NÄMÄ, meaning these, and on is the colloquial form of ovat, which means are. So on is the spoken language form of ovat. Note that in Puhekieli it is quite common that the verb appears in the third person singular even though the subject is standing in nominative plural. So to keep it short, in Puhekieli the verb doesn't always agree in number with the subject. We have 2 more chapters to go. Now we are at chapter 8, the declension. So here we will go through all the cases of the demonstrative pronouns in standard language and in spoken language. Note that the spoken language version can appear in different forms depending on where in Finland you're living. However, if you feel more comfortable with using the standard language, then that's also fine. Alright, so let's go. First we start with TÄMÄ, which means this, and NÄMÄ, which means these. The nominative case is TÄMÄ or NÄMÄ. The genitive case is tämän or näiden. The partitive case is tätä or näitä. Inessive case is tässä or näissä. Elative case is tästä or näistä. Illative case is tähän or näihin. Adjective case is tällä or näillä. Ablative case is tältä or näiltä. Allative case is tällä or näillä. Essive case is tänä or näinä. And translative case is täksi or näiksi. We move on. TUO and NUO. TUO means that and NUO means those. Nominative case is TUO. Plural is NUO. Genitive case is tuon or noiden. Partitive case is tuota or noita. Inessive case is tuossa or noissa. Elative case is tuosta or noista. Illative case is tuohon or noihin. Adjective case is tuolla or noilla. Ablative case is tuolta or noilta. Allative case is tuolle or noile. Essive case is tuona or noina. And translative case is tuoksi versus noiksi. And then we compare se, which means it or that, versus ne, the plural form, they, the, or those. Nominative is se or ne. Genitive case is sen or niiden. Partitive case is sitte versus niitä. Inassive case is siinä versus niissä. Elative case is siitä versus niistä. Illative case is siihen versus niihin. Adjective case is sillä versus niillä. Ablative case is siltä versus niiltä. Allative case is sille versus niillä. Essive case is sinä versus niinä. And translative is siksi versus niiksi. Nice! We're moving on to our next chapter, the summary. Now let's summarize what we've learned today. So at the beginning we introduced TÄMÄ and NÄMÄ. So TÄMÄ means this and is singular, NÄMÄ means these and it's plural. They are used when something is close to the speaker and he can touch it. In a conversation, these two pronouns can be used when we want to share some new information. Then we had TUO and NUO. So TUO means that and it's singular, while NUO means those and it's plural. They are used when something is further away from the speaker but still in his vicinity, meaning he can still point at it. We can also use these two pronouns when we want to share some new information in a conversation. And last one is se and ne. Se means it or that and is singular, while ne is plural and has several meanings such as the, they, those. They are used when something is not in the vicinity of the speaker, so he can neither see nor touch it. Plus, it's also used when we're talking about information that is already known to the listener. Alright, we are moving on to our last chapter for today, the exercises. Here we have again all the demonstrative pronouns and the task is to put them into the right cases. For each one we have 5 seconds to answer. So let's go. First we start with TÄMÄ. What is the genitive case of TÄMÄ? That's right, it's tämän. Next one, what is the inassive case of TÄMÄ? Very good, it's tässä. Next one, what is the illative case of TÄMÄ? That's right, it's tähän. Now we move on with NÄMÄ. What is the elative case of NÄMÄ? Excellent, it's näistä. And do you also know what is the illative case of NÄMÄ? Excellent, it's näihin. Very good. Now we move on with TUO. What is the genitive case of TUO? That's right, it's tuon. Next one, what is the adjective case of TUO? Very good, it's tuolla. And what is the partitive case of TUO? Very good, it's tuota. Alright, we move on with NUO. What is the genitive case of NUO? Excellent, it's noiden. What is the allative case of NUO? Excellent, it's noille. And do you also know the partitive case of NUO? Very good, it's noita. Alright, we move on with se. What is the genitive case of se? That's right, it's sen. What is the partitive case of se? Also very good, it's sitta. And what is the elative case of se? Excellent, it's siitä. Now we carry on with ne. What is the illative case of ne? Very good, it's niihin. What is the partitive case of ne? Very good, it's niitä. Niitä. And what is the transitive case of ne? Excellent, it's niiksi. Niiksi. Very good. So that's it for today. I think I'm going to stop the video here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more Finnish, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day and see you next time.